Showtime. Here we are on episode 110 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, your weekly opportunity to grow, scale, and build your junk removal dreams. As always, I'm Andy Weins, and along with my co-host, Casey Bubba Lawrence, we welcome you to the show. Casey, what do you want to talk about this week?
I'd really like to talk about how awesome the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Stars, and the Texas Rangers are doing, but we don't have enough time. So instead, we're just going to talk about Xavier. We have our guest Xavier back on the show because he's awesome.
And also the first show, we didn't really get anywhere. We just
fine.
No.
Were you that was the show you came in late, right, Case?
Yeah, one of them.
Came in
yeah,
like 25 minutes, like late, not like 2 minutes
I was
late.
like surprise.
But it was fun. It was fun.
It was great.
I actually didn't plan on making that one. I was like, hey, I'm not gonna make it. Go on without me. And then I was like, oh shit. I got home and I was like, I got time.
Why not?
I just jumped on. I was like, anyways, fuck what y'all are talking about. Let's talk about this now.
Also, while I'm at it, I'm in Vegas this week for Waste Expo. I have the opportunity to speak tomorrow, which is really exciting for me.
Man, that's awesome, brother.
Yeah,
congratulations, man.
Actually, I ran into Jim Fish this afternoon. He's the CEO of Waste Management.
Mr. CEO.
And I had an issue last week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, with Waste Management. And I emailed him directly, and lo and behold, I got it solved. And I went up to him today. I was like, hey, man, just so you know, like, appreciate that. And of course, he had no clue what I was talking about at first, because why would he? And I literally came up and I said, hey, can I get 10 seconds of your time? And it ended up being like a 2-minute conversation. And it was good. Like, it was like, hey, I appreciate it, man. And what was more interesting is the fact that it was like right in the cafeteria lunch area. So there's like 50 people looking like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I was wearing Lululemon pants and this nice fucking like white shirt extra over here. I was not in my typical camp. I mean, I was in like civilianese, right? I was blending in with the locals. And like, who's this fucking guy talking to Jim Fish, you know? So whatever, making a name for myself. So there's that. There's a reason why did I bring up? Oh, that's why I brought up Vegas. I'm getting lunch with Lenny, fucking Las Vegas Lenny. I'm getting lunch with him on Wednesday. So 2 years ago when I was out here for Waste Expo, I had lunch with Las Vegas Lenny.
So you're speaking tomorrow?
So I'm speaking tomorrow morning. I'm getting lunch with Lenny on Wednesday. Anyway, so yes, when I travel to your town, it's not difficult to get an hour of my time. I fucking love lunch. So Lenny and I are going to have lunch. Lenny's a firefighter who runs a junk removal company out here. And we're going to make some pastrami sandwiches and talk about junk removal. So there you go. That is the extent of what I have today. That, and I got this sweet ass. We haven't really plugged Jobber lately, but I have this sweet ass Jobber Yeti. And the reason I'm plugging it is because last week the commercial I shot back in March came out. So what's wrong with your Yeti? You just smelled it. It was weird. Get jobber.com/Camel Crew Junk Removal. I love me some Jobber. There's no doubt about it. They pay me to say that, and they don't have to pay me. I would say it either way. And the fact that we shot a commercial, I had a lot of fun doing it. And I got to drop an F-bomb on a commercial because, again, that's what I'm known for.
I was like, I bet she was all giddy like a little girl. Like, oh, I got to say that.
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't the script, obviously. It wasn't the script. But I just dropped it. It was like, I had to write it down, send a text message, put it in the calendar, put it in QuickBooks, remember it. Complete waste of my fucking time. I sent it like that. He goes, dude, you should do that every time. So I shot every line of that commercial. I probably shot 50 times, 40 times. Yeah. I don't know. Because we had like 6 or 7 locations. Plus, I did it at least 5 or 6 times every location.
Wow.
That's cool. You know, we could also bring up.
What else can
we got someone who got the itis, the butt hurt itis.
What?
He somehow spent 3 hours of his life listening to our show. And
that guy.
He did not like it.
that you know what? Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. It disappeared. The post
got deleted.
So I don't know what happened to that.
And that's fine. Fine. We'll just get the list. So long story short, Casey and I do this. We're 110 episodes into it. In life, there are going to be people that will always listen, some people that never listen, and some people that sometimes listen. Right? That's a fact. Yeah. And that's a fact of life. When I walk into Waste Expo tomorrow morning with camo pants on, I'm going to have sometimes, always, and never people. Right? And the sometimes people think they're right. They don't know where they're at. Right? There's the never people that will never listen to our show. Fine. So he listened to 3 episodes, and he took away from it that he was a loser because he never got out of the truck. I have said since day one of this podcast, you get to define your success. Look at the episode I did last week with Happy Junk Removal. He's got 2 trucks, the best fucking metrics in the game. He's been doing it for 9 years. He fucking loves it. right? I've said that before. Getting to 2 trucks is an accomplishment. If that's your goal, that's your goal. Some people want to be owner operators and run their 1 truck and make it up. You know, you can make $100,000 doing this hustle, make 250 to 300,000 as a 1 truck, you know, with a helper, you know, maybe 2 guys or whatever. If that's your goal, good on you. My father's 68 years old, and he owns a company called 2 Man Crew, and it's him. He's not even 2 man. Like it is the 1 man, right? And that's at 68. That's what he determined, because he used to take on these big additions. I think at most he had like 6 employees. And that's not what he wanted. So all I'll say to that guy is, like, everyone gets to define their own success. I said from day one, my brother and I started our business June 1st, 2016, for all intents and purposes. That was our now we're in business day. I said 5 years from today, we have to do everything in the next 5 years so we can walk away from this business someday. Because that was my goal. My goal was to build this for 5 years and then own it, right? Go from owner operator to owner. And even now, as I'm building up my leadership team, look, I'm in Vegas right now, and the guys they're handling their business. No, everything didn't go great this morning, right? And when I step out for a couple of days, I also see where the gaps are. So everyone gets to define their own success.
It exposed your business, basically.
Absolutely. So the thing is, if you are happy being a 1 truck operation, if you are happy being trucking a truck, do that for 7 years. Let's not forget, for those of you that don't know, in 2009, I started picking up appliances on the side of the road. It wasn't until 2016 I got serious. So for 7 years, I did this as a side hustle, part-time, made a little beer money, right? I did that for years, and I was happy doing it. I went and got an education. I had a full-time job. I bartended. I got married. I had a kid. I bought a house. Like, I did all those things. I deployed. Like, I did a lot of cool shit during those 7 years of side hustle. So no shame in that game. So to answer that guy, hey, you know what? If you don't want to listen to the show, that's fine. My only ask is that you accurately reflect what we've said in the show. We've said since day one, you get to define your own success. The challenge is, all the Facebook groups, almost what I hear over and over and over is, how do I get out of the truck? Right? First question is, how do I get started? For the people that are doing it side hustle or like dabbling in it, how do I get doing this full time? And the second question is, how do I get out of the truck?
Yeah.
And if your goal is,
well, that's the thing for me. It's
good on you.
For me, I like the marketing aspect of it. Like, I really appreciate him bringing our name on a public post.
Great, appreciate
to 10,000 plus people. I also appreciate the challenge that he put, because let's face it, if someone reviews a podcast or a video in a bad way, I want to go listen or watch it to see what happened.
100%.
I want to go see, hey, what did he not like so much to he got his panties in a bunch? I want to go check it out. And then the third and final thing is, look, I don't care about your feelings. You can fuck right off if you don't like our show.
Hey, maybe
I'm
watch
not
that
getting paid
episode.
to do this, and I'm not paying you to listen. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, our third review was like, one of our first 5 reviews was, Andy talks too much. You should let Casey talk more. Here's the deal. I appreciate that feedback. You know what?
Yeah.
Not the first time I fucking heard it. Talk to a couple of my exes. They'll tell you the same thing. Right?
100%.
It's just marketing. That's all it is. Xavier knows. It's just marketing.
And you know what? It's feedback. Fine. Andy talks too much. Also, I would say the feedback we got when you listen to our first 10 episodes, one, we swore way too much, right? Like, compared to how we like, because we're military, swearing's our defense mechanism. If you got nothing important to say, just swear. Like your work,
damn it.
Say it with conviction, right?
Yeah.
And also, so the 2 things that mattered, there was 3 numbers that mattered to me when we first started our podcast, right? 10, got to get to episode 10. Because, like, whatever, there's some stat, I can't remember, Taylor can probably tell us. The average podcast goes like 7 episodes. That's it. So the first thing was, let's get to 10. Like, let's do this for 10 weeks. Like, let's do that, right? And then the next number was 100. Let's get to 100 episodes. And Casey and I had a no shit conversation back in February. We're already, hey, are we going to do another 100? Because we've already done the first 100. And then the third metric was 10,000. Get to 10,000 downloads, because that is you've made it now. Like, you're a podcaster. Up until that point, you're fucking around. And these are numbers established by podcast people doing podcast things. We're up now over, I'll even look the number up for shits and giggles right now. I know we're up way over 50,000 downloads, over 100 episodes. And yeah, our first 10 episodes are crap, right? And I tell people the same thing, junk removal. When people are like, I've done like 8 jobs, what should I do? 92 more. Do 100 jobs. And then once you do 100 jobs, do 1,000 jobs. And once you've done 1,000 junk removal jobs, right? I don't care if that takes you 1 year or 10 years. Once you've done 1,000, now you got some traction. The first 100 is to see if you like it or not. Like, that's it. So
100%.
here we go. Taylor, who's our podcast producer, and he was also featured in one of the first books about podcasting, like 15, 17 years ago. He said that podcast usually, the average podcast burns out between episodes 10 and 20. Right. And then he also said consistency is everything, even podcast episodes. We know marketing. The reason why the people that are doing successful this year are the ones that did not stop marketing at the end of last year. And the ones that are struggling this year are the ones that stopped marketing last year. This is simple math.
It is the blood of the business, essentially. That's what
what's
it is. It's the blood of the business.
Yeah. All right, let me see. 55,000 downloads all time. There we go. 55,000 total downloads. That's what the number was. And we average, since we're talking data, we had 600 downloads last week. Let me just take a look. Let's take a look here. 600 last week. We've really we have trailed off. We used to average around 700, so now we're between 500 and 600 episodes or downloads. And one of the things we are attributing to is the seasons picked up, right? So we used to average right between 500 and 700. In the last 4 weeks, we are between 450 and 500. So that's, I mean, unless someone wants to comment, well, if you're commenting, it's because you're listening. So yeah, our downloads, or people have also worked through the library, because we also get tons of downloads from, previous weeks. So whether people are working through the library, because we still get 200, about 225, 240 downloads on the first 7 days. So we have very consistent 220, 240 people that listen every single week to our newest episode. So we cannot thank them enough. And then looking at it in the last 30 days, we're about 350. So that means we got, the always people we got 250 people, 230 people rather. They're always listening, right? And then another 100 or so, 125 people that will listen in the next within the 30 days. So there we go. There's some data. Let's jump into it. Xavier, remind the audience who you are, why you're on the show, and then I'm going to let Casey take a little bit of a lead today because he wasn't here for the first half. So we heard the origin story. So give people like 30 seconds, get them caught up to who you are and why you're here.
So I'm Xavier. I'm from Venezuela. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I love marketing. I love helping people. And yeah, that's basically what I am.
There we go. And Casey's between Casey and I, Casey's by far the better marketer and enjoys it more.
I love marketing because marketing is always evolving. That's why. Yep. And if you're not evolving with it, like I said last time, you're going to get left in the dust. Yep. And that's with any business, I believe, but especially a service-based business like junk removal, because how do you stay relevant? And then the question becomes, how do you stay on top of your competition? I don't care how much money you make. Competition's there. It's a real thing. It's not just, I'm my own competition. That's something you tell yourself in year 3 and below. After year 3, you have to recognize you do have real competition 100%. That could undercut you, do a better job potentially, or be there quicker. Because once you start actually booking up, it no longer becomes who's the best. Sometimes it becomes who's the most available. And that's a tricky part. Because that's the thing is having the marketing out. Okay, here's a good example real quick. Xavier, this is right up your alley. There's a company local, and they guarantee results within 3 months if you use their system. All it is basic Google ads and Facebook ads. That's it. Everything that they do, you can do. The pro to using them is you don't have to do it yourself. You can continue business. The cons is you don't see results until after 90 days. And I'm going to tell you right now, I get it. It's the law of repetition. But in my head, if I'm going to be spending money on someone else, I need a way to hold them accountable as well. So how can I do that for a marketing agency or someone like yourself, Xavier? If I hired you and you gave me some sort of quote unquote loose guarantee, how can I hold you accountable? Because everyone's human.
Yeah, I'm glad that you bring that up because I prepare a something for you guys for the show, but I don't know if I can share my screen.
Do you see on the bottom where it says present?
Oh, present, yeah.
Yep.
Share screen. All right. Sure. Let's see.
And then Taylor might have to
gift again, by the way, Xavier.
Oh,
you know what? I got a box.
I got an awesome tumbler.
Did you? You got it with you, Case?
Oh, yeah, it's in my kitchen. Here, I'll go get it.
Oh, boom! All right. I like it. Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So essentially, what we would like to bring to the show is just some nuggets here for the audience.
Yep.
Marketing is not complicated. Sometimes we make it very complicated.
Yep.
It is not simple, but it's not easy, right? Sorry, it's simple, but
It's simple, not easy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's simple, but
you're
it's
using,
not easy.
right. You're using the language I use in my book, right? Easy and
Right.
hard are subjective, while simple and complicated can be understood. So after we'll do this, and then Casey, once we go back to all the screens, then you can show what you got for a gift. I got the same thing. I know because I saw the box. I haven't opened it yet. All right, here we go.
Yeah. So basically, what I want to show you guys here is pretty much a ideal setup, for any junk removal business, or at least to show all the buckets that we as a business owner we need to pay attention to, because believe it or not, even though it sounds or it looks very simple, we have to pay attention to it. We have to monitor it. We have to track it, and we have to be very effective at doing that. Because, like Casey he said, if we're not doing it, the competitors are doing it. So right now, it's not about the big fish, aka big dogs, against the small fish. Sometimes it's about the small fish being the fastest. And I think we as a business owner, we have to adapt to all the changes and be super effective, because we have to see the marketing as a whole, kind of like 20,000 foot view, to where you can see where the traffic is coming, where the traffic is living. How can I monetize inside so that I can get the best return?
Yep.
And if we can summarize this in 2 different marketing channels, it's very simple, right? So we have paid traffic channel and we have organic traffic channel. So that's basically the 2 channels that we as business owner we have: Google ads, Facebook ads, Yelp ads, all that. All those are paid traffic channels. And then on the other side, we have organic traffic channels. Google My Business, organic ranking, MacPack, basically all the channels, offline marketing, jar signs, door hangers, business card. Those are the traffics that literally feed the business as a whole in the top of the funnel, right?
Yep.
Now, what I would like to explain you here is that when we are funneling these 2 traffic, we have to be super strategic into where we are landing that traffic, or where the traffic is going to land, right? Because it's very important. Right now, I've been having so many conversations with business owners, and they're just wondering why they're making money. Man, I'm investing $2,000 per month on Google Ads, and why I'm not making money? Why? I mean, what's going on? So sometimes it's not about the money, but sometimes it's about the efficiency. Like what you have, what's the setup that you have? Are you ready to collect 10, 20 leads per day? If you don't pick up the phone call, chances are that you are not able to monetize that. If you don't know how to sell it, chances are that you are not able to monetize that. So it's not about just the marketing. It's not just about the budget, because budgets is just something that you can you can artificially increase your traffic, but just adjusting some patterns inside your marketing setup. But not essentially it's just about the money. Like sometimes you have money to invest and the result is not there, right? So I want to show you here a good setup, right? How it is to drive traffic effectively, but also to monetize the traffic effectively. So I did this presentation real quick for the show, so that the listener can see how a traffic is being funneled from the top of the funnel, organic or traffic. So in this case, let's talk about, like, just put an example. Like let's say that we're doing Google Ads right now, right? We need to land this traffic to a place, right? We need to land this traffic to a lender, a website, a funnel, right? I'm a very big fan of landing the traffic not in the website, but in a landing page, aka a funnel. The reason being is because if you are targeting clean out, right? The copy, the funnel, the look, how, like, what you see inside that funnel needs to be related to clean out, right? If it's not related to clean out, you're paying for that click already. Regardless that client leave or not, you're already paying for that. So I rather collect the information. I'd rather engage with the client. I'd rather engage with the prospect right away within a couple of seconds by having a super nice headline, right? So in this component of landing on landing pages, there are some controllables that the marketing team or the marketing company needs to be on top of.
Mhm.
One of them is a sales copy, right? If you don't have an on-point sales copy, chances are the clients are going to land and they're going to be wondering like, okay, what am I here? I click for I don't know, office cubicle removals, and I'm here checking like a mattress removal, like, and they just exit. I mean, they don't care. They spend $10 of your budget. They don't even care. But we have to be very strategic to understand that a sales copy matters, right? Call to action. What call to action are we going to be testing? So I remember for the last year and a half, I've been testing 355 times the same funnel just to find out after many attempts that one of the call to action that I was using was not the most effective one. So it really sometimes it takes some data for you to understand and realize
What
that
was
you have to test.
what was the call? What was the call to action?
Well, so check this out. Very good question. So it was survey submission or form submission, right?
Mhm.
So here's the deal. Yes, it is the most convenient, probably, call to action for a client because it's not confrontational. You don't have to speak with anybody. You just submit a form because you're going to receive a quote.
Yeah,
right?
but correct. It's very impersonal.
Yeah.
Sure. And again, if you're local, I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say also if you're one of the things that matters to us the most is that when you call our phone, we pick up and it's someone that sounds like us, right? It's not third party. And by sounds like us, it's not like even, overseas. Like in Wisconsin, we have a lot of Native American names like Mugwanago and Kewaskum. So like when you don't know those words, like people get twitchy. Like they give a shit that you care about, what it's called.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And especially, when it comes to mobile responsive versions of the websites or the landing pages, it's so important. I mean, this type of details, like, let's say, I'm righty. If I grab my phone this way, my thumb is very close to the bottom of the screen of my device. So right there, why not adding a call to action close to
the
right?
bottom.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
right.
It's interesting
So-
you bring that up. My pop socket keeps falling off. I'm too lazy to go buy a new one, and I know I'm gonna get one tomorrow at Waste Expo. So yes, I've had to use my thumb, like only in the second. Like I have to use my second hand or like hold my phone weird to use the top of my phone. That's so interesting. All right,
Correct.
I like it.
Correct. Yeah, because we're just literally eliminating the friction, so that the client grab the phone right there. That's the call to action. All you have to do just go ahead and press that button, and that's it. So yeah, to your question, the call to action we were testing was for submission. Very fantastic. It produced a ton of leads. Beautiful. But now the other problem that we had was the following. We were generating, just to give you a number, 20 leads per day or something like that. So out of those 20 leads per day, because we were tracking, only 50% of them you were able to hop on a call with them.
Yeah.
And now the problem is that you are paying for those leads, but they're not engaged leads. So they're just leads that you just submit the information and that's it. Yeah, you have the phone number, you can call back again, you can just do follow up and all that, but you're just literally the sale is quick. So especially for junk removal, it needs to be quick. So if a client doesn't engage with you right away, chances are they will be engaging with somebody else, like another company. They're talking with somebody else right now.
Oh yeah, great. Right. Yeah, when your phone rings, when you pick it up, you're good. When you don't pick it up, you're already dead.
100%.
Now, I will say, going into that, the one thing that I have seen now that I actually like a lot, because I am a texter. Andy doesn't like answering the phone when I call. He's an asshole. So he likes to text me, I'll call you right back in the next year or two.
Probably a year or two. Yeah, a year or two. I'll get back to you in a year or two.
Yeah. The one thing I will say this, from tracking all of our customers, they're on their damn phones most of the time when they even look up a junk removal company. Yeah. So why not send them a follow-up text? Hey, we missed your call. We're sorry, or whatever. Let us know real quick what this is about. What's it regarding? What do you have? Because now you have bots, and it goes right into what you're saying. And that's how you don't lose that potential lead. 100%. Because you're following up like, hey, I missed your call. I'm on the other line. You don't have to say we missed it. Hey, right now, the president's on the phone. I can't stop talking to him. I'm sorry. But you're still important to us, so I'm just going to text you.
Stumbling,
You know what I mean?
stumbling and mumbling Joe. My pot. I
Yeah.
just set my phone down.
Exactly.
I set my phone down, and my damn pop socket broke. You know what it is? Here's the issue. Why? I have a drawer full of. Come on.
What's it say?
I
Build
really
back
wanna-
better and then fall off.
No.
Is that what it said?
It says goarmy.com/reserve. Like built by the lowest bidder possible. Go Army Reserve. So pop
But
sockets
the
only have
texting
like one
aspect.
function, and it doesn't work. I think pop socket. I have to put
Well-
it back together. I'm gonna get a nothing wasted pop socket tomorrow from the Nothing Wasted podcast, brought to you by the
I don't use
National
pop
Waste and
sockets.
Recycling Association. Anyways, I'm gonna get a new.
But
a new
I will
pop
say the texting aspect is what I use in that case, Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I love
100%
texting.
believe in that.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
So actually, talking about text, by the way, that's a great call to action that few people, they're not, executing lately.
Or because they're at work. A
Correct.
lot of people call this at work, and you may miss their call, and you call them back. They don't answer. Sorry, I was back at work. I had a 15-minute vape break or whatever the fuck. Now you can actually get a job through texting.
Yep.
So
And it's very convenient for the client because at the same time, it's convenient for the company because they're changing just the phone number, which, now you can transact with the client.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, and talking about some aspect here from the landing pages for junk removal company, some basic stuff that we need to be on top of it is stay curious. Why? Because it's not about setting the landing page and forget about it. Just because it generates 10 leads today, it doesn't mean that it cannot generate 20 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So how we can be efficient, because if we're competing against big corporations that they have budget, they have money, they have power, especially money. So we have to play on the other field, which is be more effective, because they are not perfect. I can tell you firsthand, they're not perfect. So we have to perfect our system as we go, right? So stay curious, because sometimes the headline that you're using right now might not be the best one, or might be very effective, but not the best one right now. So all we have to do is just keep testing the headline, keep testing the colors of your button, keep testing the positioning of your call to action. If it's at the bottom, if it's at the top, if it's in the middle. So those aspects really matter for the lead generation. And you have to get obsessed with the client behavior. Why? Because we're talking about here a journey where you are convincing one client from being cold traffic not to engage with your services, to exchange their information so that you can sell the services. So you have to get obsessed on, with their behavior. And of course, you have to do very good copywriting, because like I said, it's very, very important, especially for lead generation. The benefits that you can get out of all of this is you can get more leads for less money invested. Because like I said, let's say right now you are receiving 10 leads out of those 10 clicks. And because you are receiving those 10 leads doesn't mean that you receive 10 clicks. Let's say you receive 20 clicks and those 10 clicks, they left. But what about if you're super efficient and then now you're capitalizing on those 10 clicks that they were supposed to leave in, but they stay with you just because they were engaged with your landing pages. So it's very important. Sometimes it's not about increasing the budget, but tying the things that we already have in place. So the other stage is that once you receive the lead through the lender, either a phone call or a survey, let's say it's a phone call, which is one of the most efficient call to action for any business, especially because they're engaged. It's a hot lead. You have declined the motions right there. All you have to do is go ahead and sell it. Simple. It sounds super complicated. Sometimes we overcomplicate the stuff, but all they want is for somebody to listen to, and you have the help, you have the resources, they have the need, and you have to match it. That's it. So one thing that I've been noticing in the space is that a lot of people that are doing lead generation, a lot of companies, a lot of marketers doing lead generation right now, they're not doing a lead distribution. What I mean by the lead distribution is that, remember when we were landing that client in that lander, in that funnel, they click. So what about if that click was a organic traffic? what about if it's paid traffic? Like, why does it matter? So to me, it matters because if you don't know where your leads are coming from, chances are that you don't know where to apply the fire, or where to double down on those lead channels, right?
We harp on that in this show, right? That I was terrible at it for a long time. As of last week, we have a 99.1% lead capture on invoiced jobs, right? Jobs where we closed them. We still have a gap when it comes to jobs leads, right? Because sometimes you talk to somebody and they don't tell you, and then you never talk to them again. So I will say we have a 99% close ratio on jobs that actually close. And I used to monitor both, and now I would love to hear your take, Xavier. How important is it to monitor where your leads are not coming from?
Well, it is as important as why or where they're coming from. Because here's the deal. If you're not tracking that,
I'm saying the customers. I'm saying the customers that do not buy. Do you track that data?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay.
And that's something that we're gonna get here in the sales process.
Okay, all right.
So, for example, for the lead distribution, right? So we need to start tracking those leads, and it's simple. So we don't have to overcomplicate it. Yeah, we have Google My Business, we have Yelp, we have Nextdoor. I mean, we have Facebook ads or Facebook posts, whatever. So whatever we're doing, they separate in two branches. So paid traffic, organic traffic. All we have to do is separate those two traffic 100%, or as perfect as possible, because it's not 100% perfect, but you can get to a good level, right? So when you're tracking the lead distribution, there are multiple tools that you can use, and I have them here, all the tools that you can use. For example, one tool that you can utilize for your business is Hotspot. They have great resources where you can literally start tracking your lead distribution using that particular platform, high level. That's something that actually we're currently using. Google Analytics, and literally spreadsheet, as simple as it sounds, right? So while tracking the leads.
Can I say one thing about analytics, though? I would recommend getting with someone who knows their way around Google Analytics, because it can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you're not used to that information, especially with a lot of raw data and how to navigate through the different hurdles.
And also, the person that evaluates your Google Analytics cannot be the person that's selling you the service, because, right?
This looks pretty bad. You need me.
Correct. I remember there's 12 boxes on the Google Analytics. There's 12 boxes, right? And it's like 333 or 444 rather. And all I gave a shit about was customer acquisition cost. How many dollars versus phone, right? Because they're like, oh, number of impressions, number of clicks, number of retargeting. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't care. Yeah. And like then for months I kept hearing, oh, this, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. Now I don't look at any of that shit. I just look at how many dollars we spent against how many jobs we got, right? And then I look at the average cost of the job. So yes, Google Analytics, have someone that you're not paying to do Google actually tell you what's going on. And then I will argue all that fucking matters is your customer acquisition per campaign. Because I've had some campaigns that get 100,000 impressions, right? And it costs me $300 a lead. And I have another one that has 10,000 impressions and it gives me $40 a lead, right? Because if anything, the one with a high impression and low close rate sucks, because now we're targeting a bunch of people that aren't turned on. I want to be, like you talked about earlier, be obsessed in the behavior of the client. Actually, see it right on the top of the screen. Be obsessed with that behavior. And I typically, even when it comes to close jobs, I really only focus on people that buy from me. I don't even really focus on the people that do not buy from me, because I'm not trying to convince them. Just like that fucking guy that, talks shit on Facebook. It's like, cool, not our guy, right? We can agree on the facts, and then beyond that, I'm not going to convince the guy to listen to our show, or the people that think I talk too much, or the fact that, like, whatever shit you got to say, like, cool, you're not my customer, so I'm not going to consider your thoughts, versus someone that listens to the episodes and gives us feedback, versus someone that actually takes on our services and gives us feedback. That's the person I give a shit about. The person that the high-end steak joint doesn't ask the person that goes into McDonald's what they think about their fucking steak joint, not their customer.
100%. Yep.
Got on my rant. I'm out of also the hotel is doing work right now. I want to while I got the airtime. The hotel is doing work, so there's no water, and I drank all my
God.
water, and I drank my water bottles, and I went to make a pot of coffee, and there was no water to make my pot of coffee, and there was no decaf coffee downstairs in the marketplace thing.
The
So
hotel.
Oh man.
Hilton Grand Vacations. The room is great. I got the, I got the living room. I got a full kitchen right here. Great bathroom. I got a tub. I took a bath last night. I take like 3 baths a year, and then I realized why I took one. I was like, this is stupid. I'm just like sitting here sweating because I'm hot. And then I went and took a shower and went to bed. Nice big king size bed. Great. I'm sure once the water turns back on, I'll be happy again. I'm letting you guys know I'm going to get parshed. Is that your wife? What is she doing? What is Monica doing? What are we doing here?
Writing stuff down.
What kind of operation we running here? Old 2 whiteboards. You got 2 whiteboards now? Can't you get her own whiteboard?
One for her, one for me.
Golly,
this one's
can't hear
mine.
Me.
That one's hers.
Very, very blank. A lot of opportunity for open canvas. All right, let's get now that we had this short break. With our unofficial sponsor, Hilton Grand Vacations. Let's get back to the flow chart.
Yes. So talking about the lead distribution. So it's really important because this is one thing that people don't talk about, but it keeps the marketing team accountable.
100%.
Why? It's not the same. Hey, I'm making money, but is it through your effort or through my effort? Because if it's through my effort, why am I paying you?
Yeah. So
you have to expose. So this is something that expose any marketing agency or any company that is doing lead generation. And I'm not saying this just to point at people or nothing. No, it's just that in the industry, we need to be transparent, right? And we need to be transparent with the clients because they are the one that exchange the money. They put their trust. And this is something that as a marketer, it's something that we need to honor, right? Hey, this many leads that I'm bringing to you through paid advertising because I'm doing your paid advertising. But this many leads is coming through organic traffic because you've been doing your freaking job amazingly. And that's something that literally I'm super obsessed about because before being a marketer, I was burned by marketing companies. So I know exactly, how it feels like to pay and pay and pay and not get any results.
Yep.
So after the lead distribution and we understand where the lead is coming from, that lead hasn't been here on the call yet. So we're just distributing the lead. Okay, now it's time to get on the call, right? So basically the controllable here is going to be the customer service and the sales skills. Why? Because if we don't have sales skills, good customer service, you're not somebody that can pick up the phone call, that sounds super good on the phone call. Chances are that the client's going to fall off. So it's not going to go with you. Even though that person is looking for the services, sometimes it's not because of the service. Sometimes the tonality of your approach that literally doesn't like it. And they might go with somebody else, even more expensive, just because you sound terrible on the phone call, right? So it's about sounding good, sounding professional, and doing, basic sales skills so that we can understand the client, less talking, more listening, because at the end of the day, we're helping, right? We're selling junk removal services, but we're helping them just to transition from what they need to what we have, right? So some basics here is that number one, answer the phone. I know it's very basic.
That's a huge one because this goes back to the guy that is truck and trailer operation, right? Because when you truck and trailer it, one of the challenges is if you're on the job, how are you going to pick up the damn phone?
Yeah.
Right? That's legit. This is why I talk about this. That's why this matters. Right? When you want to scale, answering the phone is well, that's a no-brainer. Well, it's a no-brainer, and yet there are people that fail at that every day. I know that. Last year we did not have a good operations person in the business, and it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars long term. Right? Immediate because they didn't do their job, they weren't there. Right? And then long term because these are other customers that that could be. What do you call it? It could be repeat business or referral based business, and yet they're not because we didn't pick up the phone the first time.
100%.
That is so. let's not gloss over the fact. I want to make it very clear so that people are like, oh, I got back to them, or oh yeah, no, they left a voicemail. Not good enough. Like not even close to good enough from my perspective. Your close rate, your ability to have a good conversation when you pick up the first time is exponential over, oh yeah, I got back to them. Like, oh yeah, no, by the time I got back to them, they didn't need me anymore. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, what, that was stupid,
Yep.
So I want
So,
to,
yeah.
I want to make like you, I don't want to brush over this point because there's a lot more to it. Anyways, all right,
Yeah.
go ahead.
There's way more a lot to it. So be available, right? Be available, right?
Yep.
So some people, they're not just available, right? So what you were talking, Andy, about being available, super important. Tonality matters. So for tonality, there's more to it. How to practice tonality, like myself included. So I have an accent, and it's tough for me to practice tonality, but I have to get good at tonality because literally it's not the same when I talk to my daughter. Hey, I love you, baby. And when I say I love you, baby, so it's just like the tonality matters. So it's same thing, but the tonality is different. So the client's gonna perceive that because it's all about perception. It's everything, like it's how they perceive on the phone call, because literally you're just the front line. You're just the front line of that particular individual that is trying to get the whole effort of the marketing team to you, and you are not available and you don't answer the phone, and then you are questioning yourself why my marketing is not working. And it's just because you're not picking up the phone call.
Yep.
So after we pick up the phone call, right, we have a yes or a no. Yes, client want to go ahead and book the appointment with you, or probably the client just decide not to book the appointment with you. So what Andy was asking a few minutes ago, what happened with those people that literally they are not booking an appointment with you? What should we do with that? Well, so if they're not booking an appointment with you for any reason, it could be prices, it could be availability, it could be anything. We have to get those clients into a CRM, a database. So why? Because you're spending that marketing budget anyway. So that money is being spent. So it's very unprofessional. It's not good that if you're spending money, you're not at least getting the data or getting some client information. Because at this stage that we're talking about, or that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be the sales process, right? Having a sales process doesn't mean not only sounding good on the phone call, but what happened after we are on the phone call. What happened when they said no? What happened when they say yes? How can we make more money from this customer long term? So first of all, we need to get the data, get the client information into a CRM, in a spreadsheet, whatever you have.
Jobber. Plug
Jobber,
for Jobber.
yep.
Jobber houses up until this point, everything you've done, we do all this in Jobber. Like, so some people are like, oh, you need a CRM. It's like, for us, Jobber is our CRM. I mean, actually, here, real quick, zoom out all the way. I want to see for shits and giggles. No, zoom out all the way. I want to see how big this thing is. Zoom out more. Zoom out more. Nice. All right. Zoom in.
We're talking about here
LTV. No, I just want like for me, like I'm watching this on my laptop. I will say, for anybody that's listening to this, this is a show you need to sit down and watch, because this, scroll up a little bit, because this, what he's putting out here, this sales process, like other people go to like conventions and whatever to learn this. It's like we do this, and yet I guarantee you, when looking at this sales process or building out your sales process, when you build it into a flow chart, when you put it on paper, you will see where the gaps are, why you're losing people, why you're gaining people, right? And where the opportunity is. So I'm saying this out loud, like, this is great information he's giving this week. And for people that are listening, this is an episode you need to stop, for an hour and sit down and look at the sales process, because talking about it and seeing it are two different things. So anyways, we are at the go or no go. Either they said yes over the phone, or they said yes during the lead, nurturing process, or they said no. And what are we going to do to get them back into the sales funnel if they said no?
Correct. So if they say no, so basically we just want you to get them into the sales process, right? Sales process, literally just think like pipelines, right? A client says yes, a client says no, a client is maybe, client, she has a price, she has a quote. So we have to meet the clients where they are in the buying cycle. Because here's the deal. So some people, they're not that ready. And some people are super ready. The buying threshold is not the same. Like, for example, people like me, you have to sell me super hard on the phone so that I can say yes, right? Even though I need it, I want to shop around. But if I shop around, literally, at least us as a business owner, we have to be diligent at doing the follow-ups, at least doing the follow-up, because we're paying for that lead that we land. It's costing us money. It's costing us $50-$60 for example, for Google Ads. So at least we have to speak on the phone with that person. At least we need to try to close that person. Of course, there are some clients that of course, they're not going to close. And we know that. But at least we deserve to do some follow-up just because we're being diligent. We're not being a pest at following up. We're just being diligent, right? So we get them into a sales process that we could have multiple things inside the sales process. We need to do lead nurturing. What is lead nurturing? Basically, we receive a lead that says no or says yes, right? We start emailing those people or communicating with those people via text, email, phone call. We need to start nurturing those people, because even though they haven't closed with us, doesn't mean that they will not close with us in the future. Not because they said no today, it doesn't mean that they will not say yes tomorrow. So a no now might be a yes tomorrow. So basically, it's all about the client's journey. So we can have some clients' database reactivation. For example, let's say we have a few clients that they said no, and a few clients that they say yes, right? And we are in the middle of a season, the seasonality of the business, that we are in the middle of December or something, and things are kind of slow or something. What we can do? Well, first of all, if we have a CRM, like Jobber, for example, and we have a database, we have data. And when we say we have a business, it's because we have data. We have the data of our client. We have the data, the client's database. That data, we pay for it somehow, either through your effort, through marketing, through anything, you pay for it. So that data is there for a reason. So we have to use it. So that's why lead nurturing is a big, big deal. When we say lead nurturing, it means to nurture the relationship between you and the client, because you don't want to have a client just for one junk job today, just one mattress removal today. You want that client to be with you for a long, long time. And we're going to talk about, if we have time, lifetime value, because it's very important to understand that it's not about getting the job for right now and just forget about that client. You can make
it's red,
money.
yellow, green. It's so I call it the red, yellow, green, right? Green means go, yellow means wait up, we have a hold up. No means red, pretty much. But
red is dead.
Yeah, red is dead. But the cool thing about the dead, you can use effort to pull them back into life towards the slow season, like your process, or like your point was. And you gather those names and information, say, you know what, I'm going to send an email on our typically slow quarters to the dead, just to see if I can get some life out of them. The yellow, they're on the fence. You just want to double tap, just see what they're thinking. Hey, Have you made up your mind? Have you talked to your wife yet? Whatever. And the green, that's where I like to put my money. The green is they did business with me. I'm going to reward the hell out of them, and I'm going to keep doing it because I want them to understand we value their support. So, hey, your next job, we'll knock $10 off, or here's a gift card, or if you give us someone and they mention your name, we'll do this for you. That's the investment that I see on the greens. The yellow and the red are honestly the only work you really have to do, I think.
100%.
The greens
100%.
It's all about rewarding the already
I'm the opposite. I'm spending my time with my greens because my greens know more greens. Reds are dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you reward them. You give them incentive to keep doing business with you, even if it's from someone else.
Didn't you just say you'd rather spend time with your reds and your yellows?
No, I said I'd rather spend time with my greens than the reds or yellows.
Oh, I thought
the reds and yellows, you put them on automatic.
I thought you
put them on automatic email.
Got it. Yeah. All right. I thought for a second there you said, yeah. All right. We're on the same page then. Yeah. Because here's the deal. I've heard the opposite. People are like, oh yeah, the people that always buy from you don't, just keep keep selling to them. Go after the ones that are hard to close. It's like, well, it's a terrible idea. Like,
Yeah.
All right, we're on the same page then.
100%. Yeah, and sometimes the simplicity of literally grabbing your phone, because sometimes you don't need some super crazy automations, which in fact you can do through automation, but you can literally grab your phone. And of course, it takes time, it takes effort, but being broke is also sucks, right? So if you grab your phone and you just literally text your client database, hey, Miss Mary, I just want to say thank you for your business. That's it. That's everything you have to say. Next thing you know, chances are you're going to get some leads, you're going to get some jobs out of that text message. Your intention was literally to follow up with that client in a good way, but Miss Susan, she was ready to buy. And you send that text message right on time. And the only thing that she did was just replying to you that, hey, I got some boxes in my garage. Can you hold off? Yeah, and that's it. So that's basically part of the lead nurturing. So we need to focus on lead nurturing super heavy, because if we want to increase lifetime value of the client, we have to focus on this because we have the data.
Gratitude is everything.
Correct. Anyway, so just trying to go a little bit faster here. Booking process. Once you have the booking process, through Jobber or any other CRM, Jobber. So you want to have some level of personalization. Sometimes you have people that literally they book an appointment with you and they just forget about you. There's a couple of things that I've seen in the space that are really working lately, and I'm gonna give it to you. This idea: when somebody book an appointment with you, right, and you have somebody that's picking up a phone call from you, maybe, let's say a VA or somebody, a person, just by grabbing your phone, business owners or a manager, grabbing your phone, recording yourself. Hey, Miss Susan, I just want to say thank you for your business. I see that you have an appointment with us tomorrow at 2 p.m. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm here for you. That thing right there, few people are doing it. And when you have this level of personalization, when the client is thinking about canceling the service, she's going to think it twice, just because it's kind of like a sense of guilty, that, man, this guy took their time of the day. It's the owner. He said, thank you. That thing right there, you will have probably a fan forever in your business just by just doing that. It took you literally 10 seconds of your time and the camera from your phone. You send it to them after they book the process. So basically post-booking personalization, and that's it. That's everything you have to do. So basically you're trying to engage more with your client, because after they book, it doesn't mean that they cannot cancel. So I
know bomb. There's a bomb video. So you're thinking you like dropping a quick bomb. Is this personalized for every client, or is it a standard? Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for.
No, for every client. It's personalized video. Personalized video, and it takes time. Because from the day to day, you're busy, you're working, but at least a manager or somebody that can do a personalization, that will be super amazing. Because first of all, big corporations are not doing that because it's corporate. Yeah, it's so complex for them to do something like this. They have so much money to do that. They don't care. Actually, most of them they don't really care.
They are. You're saying they aren't doing it, and yet it would be nothing for them to do it.
Correct. Yep. So at this point, we have to play a little bit, or we have to understand that chances are that they can cancel, but at least we're making it difficult for them to cancel, just because we have a process in place that is making them not to cancel for that much, right? So after we have the post-booking personalization, we're just dispatching the job, right? We're just dispatching the job to our guys through Jobber or any other software. The reason here is that we need to understand that when we're dispatching a job, that's our front line, right? You as a business owner, those guys, they're the extension of your business. And the KPIs that they gather on the field, you need it for your business so that you can feed the big KPI in your business, so that you can, at the end of the whole process, you can understand and see the big picture, if it's working or not, the marketing that you're doing, or any lead generation effort that you're doing towards your business. So you're gonna start tracking costs in your business. In last episode, 2 episodes before, my friend John,
Yep.
John Aguirre, he was talking about costs, and very nice explanation. Literally, all you have to do is start tracking those KPIs that really matter for you. I put down some KPIs here. Job completion. Why is so important to track job completion? Well, because even though you have 10 jobs on the schedule today, sometimes, believe it or not, your own guys are the ones that are provoking the cancellation of that job. Just because they smell bad. It happened to me when I was a manager. One client called me at the office, and she was super mad. And she canceled the job, by the way. She told me, Xavier, your guy sucks. Like, literally smells so freaking bad. Like, literally, I don't want that guy in my property, please. And I have to show up there to say, I'm sorry and all that. But it was just because he was smelling bad. It doesn't mean like you're not going to smell bad. But hey, the image really matters. You're representing a brand. You're representing a company. You're not supposed to smell that bad. Just grab a little perfume or something, just spread it, and to try to smell less bad. But things like that really matters.
Extra shirts in the truck, man. Look, these guys work their ass off in the heat, especially in Texas. We know what it's like. But I'll tell you, extra shirts in the truck goes a long way.
Long way.
Yep.
And it's not just the smell; it's your overall appearance. Like, we had a guy who's probably one of the hardest workers we ever had. He looked like a bag of crap every time he did a job. I don't know how. It could be a couch removal from the curb, and somehow he's covered in mud afterwards. But you always had to get on him. Like, hey, dude, like a shirt isn't going to help his problems. You know what I mean? So you have to just be better on make sure your physical appearance isn't that sloppy. Like, we know you do hard work.
Yeah, you walking like a look bag of dicks. Like, what the hell? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just KPIs important to track on site. Average job size, revenue per job, team cost.
That average job size nationwide is $400. Is that? Or is that
around? I mean, that's average.
All right.
Average.
That's interesting. Where'd you get that data from?
So from 1-800-JOHN, College Home. So that's actually the only 2 points that I have. The information. So nationwide is around $400. I know it's a little bit high because Well,
look at Junk King's their analytics are insane, dude. Like they know what they're doing.
Do they have access to their analytics? You don't have access though.
Not like he has direct access, but
yeah. He has. Yeah, actually, I met the CFO of Junk King. He's a Milwaukee guy or Wisconsin guy.
I got a lot of our website tricks from them because their marketing was on point. It was annoying, but it works. Yeah,
no, it's dialed in. I mean, when we talk shit about franchises, typically we're not talking shit about Junk King.
No,
I'm anti-franchise, and I got no beef necessarily with Junk King. They figure out how to do things efficiently, and they do actually. One of the things that they do different is they require all their franchisees to have a commercial property with an office and a sorting area to encourage the recycling. Like that's more than, that's more than what do you call it? What some of the other franchises require. We'll just leave it at that. That's
Yep. So I mean, these metrics are super important to track it in the field because they're gonna feed the costs, for us. So once we have the costs, now we can start calculating other stuff. But for example, revenue per job, team costs or labor costs, very important. Fuel costs, dump costs, revenue per hour, even revenue per hour. Just trying to see how fast they're working, because sometimes we have guys out there and they might be just driving around if they are not being tracked, with GPS. And by you having this metric in place, you kind of like have an average revenue per hour type of metric that you can kind of like compare to, and you can kind of see if that person is doing their job or not.
Yeah.
So the last thing is that once you are on site, right, you have to sell your services, right? You have to start selling your services. There are multiple things here that are going to, or the client is going to take into consideration. How professional you look, and your prices, right? So prices will be the last thing to discuss while you are on site, but especially the professionalism of how you're showing to your client, right? If you're being respectful, if you're being, if you have some ethical or some manners on site. So those type of things are things that really help you to capitalize that particular job that costs so much effort through the whole funnel that we're talking about. And now your guys are the responsible to just say the right word, look amazing, look professional, say the right things at the right time, and just discuss prices so that you can start getting paid. But everything that we were discussing here, all of this element that we were discussing, it has a purpose. Like why I'm showing this, there's a purpose behind all this. The purpose is that if you want to scale your marketing efforts, if you don't have one of these buckets, it has a little hole in it, we have to work on it before we start putting more money on top of it, because what we're doing is literally trashing money. If your landing page is not on point, if your lead distribution is not on point, if your phone calls, scripts, or experience on the phone calls sucks, your sales process is not on point, your booking process is not on point, your dispatching is not on point, your guys on site are not doing their job, chances are that you're going to end up saying that your marketing sucks. So why we want to calculate all of these metrics and everything? Because there are two metrics that I really feel they're one of the most important, if not the most important, not only for junk removal, but for any business, which is LTV and CAC, right? So the LTV, the lifetime value, CAC, customer acquisition cost.
Yep. Right. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to jump off. I forgot I have a 5:30 hard time in Fort Worth. So
deuces.
I gotta go.
All right, we're gonna keep going hard. We start talking about CAC, and all of a sudden Casey leaves.
Yeah, I know. I don't like talking about CAC. All right.
All right, that's Casey Moore. See, this is why I do all the talking, because Casey shows up late, leaves early.
All right. So we were talking here about CAC and COGS, right? So all these metrics that we were discussing, all of this process that we were showing here, are with just one fundamental thing.
So for our listeners out there, real quick, LTV, lifetime value, right? You anticipate how much that customer is going to be worth long term, and CAC is customer acquisition cost, and then COGS, cost of goods sold. Whenever we use, that's one thing in the military we always talk about. Whenever you use an acronym, because we love acronyms in the military, is to always be sure we define them and not throw them away. So customer acquisition cost, simplest way to get that is total marketing dollars against that acquired customer, and you can break it down by sector. When you say, okay, I got this customer from Google, now I can look at the Google sector. I got this customer from networking, now I can look at the networking sector. Same with lifetime value. We anticipate commercial accounts are going to have a greater lifetime value than a commercial or a residential account, because the likelihood of them repeating is higher. And then finally, customer, cost of goods sold. As you scale, it becomes more complicated to do a job by job. So get in the habit of doing it. When you have one or two trucks, it's a lot simpler to figure out, hey, this is your, daily average, and where'd you slow down? We went in depth on COGS last episode, 2 episodes, whatever, when we talked to Happy Junk Removal. So if you get nothing else from this, after this is data, your data matters, right? And then you know where to reinvest the money. So,
100%.
Soapbox, let's get back to it.
100%. Yeah, I was going to get into depth in here, but just for respect of the audience, I was going to wrap up the idea here about the CAC and LTV ratio. So when you know your LTV, when you know your CAC, literally, and you know the ratio, it's so powerful, because now you pretty much, if you have that ratio like nailed down, you pretty much know, like, for every dollar that you put in, you know pretty much what you get out. So it's not about ROAS, because that's the thing. So I put something here a few months ago about ROAS, and I said on a post, like,
what's ROAS? What's ROAS? I don't even know what ROAS is.
Yeah, return on ad spend. So,
all right.
But honestly, ROAS, this is just my personal opinion. Yep. ROAS is a fancy metric used by marketers to prove their stuff works.
Yeah, here's the deal. I don't even I'm a data guy, and I didn't even know what it was until 4 seconds ago. because it's so fucking that's an insignificant number to me. Return on ad spend. Yeah, I get it, but customer acquisition cost is a little more dialed in. Yeah,
Correct.
fuck that. All right,
Correct.
I like it.
Correct. And when you're talking about LTV CAC ratio, so that's the metric the big corporation they use just to know if their stuff that they're doing is working. So why being so different to companies like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, College Hunks, Junkie, Junk Loggers? Those people, they're tracking these metrics in the back end. That's why every time that they're opening a location, they know exactly what or how much money they're allocating into the specific location, or the business owner needs to be allocating to that particular location to start making money. Because the thing is that LTV CAC ratio, you're taking consideration aspect like COGS, and COGS, for you to calculate COGS, you need to start tracking metrics. It's so easy to track return on ad spend. Well, for every dollar that you are investing, this is what you're getting out. But here's the deal. It's not about in numbers, it's about the bank account. So that's why I put something here, an icon of the bank, because it's not about the numbers. It's about it's about the profit.
Yep.
Right? It's about the profit.
And also return on ad spend. I mean, you can use that number, and that's only good for like Google, where you have a direct correlation between ad spend and dollars. Because there's a lot of, I mean, essentially return on ad spend is, I mean, that's your customer acquisition cost, or customer acquisition cost on a revenue, right? Your actual return on revenue. I'm okay with this. So we use that. So we use total revenue. We use it as a metric, right? Which gets us to our customer acquisition ratio, which I use that all the time, right? Because I know that my customers on Google are about average. I know when I get customers through realtors, they're going to be above average. And I know like Nextdoor is below average, right? And I remember Google LSA, the actual customer was worth like less than half of what my normal customer is worth, because Google, local, what LSA, what was it? Local service, whatever it was, professional bullshit. Like those were people always looking for the cheapest deal. Like that's just, they're always looking for, it was always like a single item or 2-item pickup. So there's some validity to it. The challenge is you have to do it by sector. So you can say, all right, I spent this money on Yelp, I spent this money on Google, I spent this money on Facebook, and this is what I got out of it.
100%. Yep, and that's something that by checking here what you need to calculate LTV and CAC. So there's so many things that, I mean, here on the screen you can see to calculate LTV you need gross profit margin, average job size, average purchase frequency rate, pay jobs, new customer, retention rate, repeat client, referral, customer retention. So to calculate CAC, you need to know how much money you're spending online, how much money you're spending offline, how much money you're spending on the sales team, how many clients you have acquired through that period of time that you're calculating the CAC. So those are metrics that we as a business owner, we need to be on top of. It's not about ROAS. It's about LTV CAC ratio. So that's why sometimes when we are doing marketing and we're not tracking these metrics, any person can fool you by telling you their stuff is working. But when you see your bank account, it's not like that. So calculating this takes time, but trust me, it is 100% worth it. The information is there. So this is not something that is not online. It's online. All you have to do is go ahead and find it and apply it. You don't need, sometimes you don't need a super crazy software to do this. Sometimes you just need a spreadsheet. As simple like that. It takes time and it takes efforts, but it is doable.
All right, I like it. So let's go back over to that other spot where you had the ratios. You said, explain to me this 3-to-1 ratio LTV over CAC.
Sure. Yep, that's very good. So here you can see, let me 1 second. So the ideal LTV CAC ratio is 3-to-1. So it says here, in other words, so you want your company to generate 3 times more money that you will spend on acquiring a customer. But here's the deal. Some people, they say, well,
I mean, that's way, I mean, I would say, no, mine is 10-to-1. And it's a 5-to-1 minimum. You're saying lifetime value. Lifetime value versus CAC. So if your customer acquisition is $100, you're saying lifetime value is $300.
So for example, if you're, I have an example here that I did.
Give me an example, because I know mine has always been 5-to-1. Like
a client here,
and it's 10-to-1 is goal.
So for example,
5-to-1 is like anything below. It's good, better, best. Anything below 5-to-1, I've lost money.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
for example, you can have multiple, way to calculate it. But let's say that your average lifetime value is 251, and your CAC here is 122. So yeah, just divide it by 2. Like
you have a 2
this divided by
2-to-1
this.
ratio. Yeah, because the challenge. Because my math says that a good junk removal company can run a 20% profit, right? So if you're spending 20% of your money, you have to have that to reinvest. It's a 5-to-1 ratio. That's what it comes down to, right? Because I want to keep. My goal is 10-to-1. My goal is lifetime value is 10 times my customer acquisition, and you don't see that day one. But lifetime, because the lifetime value, then you start factoring a repeat business and referral business, right? Because I look at repeat and referrals, especially repeat, obviously very different than new customer acquisition, because we already earned them, right? So now you're really that's driving your lifetime value versus earning new customers. So yeah, I would argue 3-to-1. I mean, 3-to-1 when you're a small company, when you have very low COGS and very even lower fixed cost. I mean, for me, I have very high fixed costs because I got 12 trucks in my fleet, a building, shitloads of insurance and coverage, right? So I would argue that lifetime value goal minimum is 5, long term is probably 15-to-1. So I think 15-to-1. Let me just do the hillbilly math real quick. 100 divided by 15.
That is
60. Yeah, 6. That's what I thought. 6. So basically 7% customer acquisition cost.
Yep. 6
right?
point. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 point. Yeah, right. So that's a 7% customer acquisition cost. So I don't do it with a ratio. I look at it as
Percentage.
customer acquisition costs. I want it below 10. I mean, that's it. I mean, so I would say 7 to 10 customer acquisition costs. When you first start, it's like 25, 30, if not 50% customer acquisition costs those first couple months, because you're spending money. I mean, you wrap a truck for $5,000 or $3,000 or whatever it is. I mean, it's going to take you, those first couple of months, your customer acquisition cost is extremely high because wrapping a truck, printing off that initial batch of flyers, all that shit costs money. So,
yeah. And the challenge here is, like you said, to start tracking this by channels, because it takes time. I mean, it takes effort, but it's worth it at the end of the day. Because when I started this conversation here with you guys about the distribution of the leads, right? Everything started there, right at the top. So everything starts here, right? If you don't know this, your numbers are not 100% right, because your organic is your organic, but your paid traffic is your paid traffic. So this right here is a challenge.
Yep.
This is right. This is actually the right channel. Sorry, the challenge, because it's so simple to just pretty much to put some money on Google Ads and just pray and see, well, if I have money in the bank account, it means that I'm doing good with my marketing agency. Maybe you're doing super good in your offline marketing, and that's why you're still in business.
Yep.
So that's just the analogy there.
All right, I love it. So cool. Is this spreadsheet available to people, or is this what you use for your internal training?
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, I can share it. I mean, I have the spreadsheet for LTV CAC ratio, and also some spreadsheet here for tracking the metrics as well.
So I'm gonna make it real simple to our listeners. Shoot us an email, drop us a line. For those that want it, I'll have Taylor and Xavier follow up with you. Taylor will come up with Taylor's going to put a post or something up in the VIP group. For anybody that wants it, you can DM us directly on the VIP group, then Trash Talk Business Podcast. Shoot us a message with your email, what you want. Xavier is going to make it nice for us and convenient to give us the ratios, this sheet, how to calculate your CAC and your LTV, because there's a lot of information today, and also the sales funnel sheet. Let's go to the big finish here. I'm gonna start it off right. Really is simple. There are only a few metrics that really matter in your business, right? The number one metric that matters in your business is EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, otherwise known as profit. That is the number one metric, right? Second metric I talk about, and you talk about this too, is lifetime value against your customer acquisition cost. That's the second metric. So in order to get that, you have to know your lifetime value of your customers, right? You can extrapolate that over time. What's the right? And the simplest way of doing that is average cost per job and frequency they're going to use you, right? And residential commercial is going to be slightly different, right? That's a simple way. He has other ways. And then your customer acquisition cost, right? Divide that. When you know your EBITDA on your business, and when you know the lifetime value to customer acquisition cost, right, which is ultimately your return on investment, right, against revenue. When you know those two numbers, you'll know exactly when to spend where, and then how to be profitable. And then you can get into COGS and disposal and all these other things. Those are the top two numbers. And for the people that are not numbers people, get to know those two numbers. And the third metric, you got to know, where did my customers come from?
Yeah.
Having a high ratio of the customers of my pool, where did they come from, and what is the lifetime value, and also the customer acquisition cost by, I call it sector, right? Your Google, I look at online as Google, Facebook, Nextdoor, and other. Those are the ones we measure, right? And next one for us is networking. Networking is general events, expos, realtors, senior living, right? Next category is visibility. That's seeing our trucks. And next one is referral, right? Like I go right down the list, and I know base by base because we ask, right? And I said we have a 99% hit ratio on the customers that actually use us, how they got a hold of us. Also, Taylor just said he's gonna once we get the sheets, we're just gonna drop them in the VIP group. Even simpler, right? Relatively simple for you. So that's my big takeaway from today. You're a marketing guy. I'm a numbers guy. When I look at the 6 buckets of business, it's marketing, sales, operations, the thing you do, resources that are human, and finances, right? And the numbers. I'll say the numbers. So the numbers and the marketing people, when they get together, magic happens in between. So there's that's my top takeaway. What is, Xavier, what's your top takeaway from today?
My takeaway is from actually 2 episodes ago. I think it was you that you said every man needs a spreadsheet. So
true.
So basically, we need to track numbers because numbers.
What gets measured gets worked on.
Correct.
It's addressed 100%.
Men lie, but numbers don't. So that's basically my takeaway. So
people lie, numbers do not. That is absolutely true, and that's the kind of great stuff we have here on the Trash Talk Business Podcast. Another great week. Same guest from a couple weeks ago, but another great episode here with Xavier sharing and pulling back the screen. Right. A lot of people say, what do business owners do on nights and weekends? Well, they build spreadsheets and flowcharts, so they better understand their business. So great business owners like Xavier, myself, that's what we're doing. And when you do that, when you get obsessed with your marketing, when you get obsessed with your data, when you get obsessed with your processes, that's when you see your business start to explode. So my challenge to everybody out there is figure out what sector or what bucket within your business you're obsessed with and double down on it. So that's my top takeaway. That's the next takeaway, but that's the biggest thing you can do this next week as you grow and scale your junk removal dream. So without further ado, I'm Andy Weins. Casey left us early. He's Xavier from Venezuela, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Tap subscribe or follow to get the latest episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review and tell a friend to listen. To learn more,